ups.com, and this is July 12th, 2016. Tonight we are going to have a show. I'm going to have a wonderful guy named Dave Matthew Boddy, and he's going to talk about concussions. And, I think it's something that nobody really talks about, head injuries. And he's got quite a story to tell. And I'm in the middle of moving, and I don't know about you guys, but it's been pretty intense. So what I'd like to do is do the energy balancing earth, the curse removal, because, as you give, you receive, and I really need to receive this. I don't know about you, but I could use it. So for those of you that want to know what curse removal is, it's removing energy you've taken on that's not yours, removing energy implants, curses, opening up all your energy centers, your chakras, and getting them flowing really well, and clearing your path so you can move forward. So for those of you who are going to participate, all you have to do is sit down and have your spine, sit straight up. And put your hands in your lap, feet flat on the floor. Put your hands in your lap like you're going to receive. And what I want you to do is start taking some very, very gentle deep breaths, and that's so you hyperventilate on me. And as you're doing that, I want you to imagine you're inhaling light and exhaling out energy that no longer serves you. And that energy goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. So as you're doing that, I surround each and every one of you in a bubble of golden flame. I add to that the blue flame of protection, the violet flame of transmutation, the green flame of healing, and I seal you in the pink flame of love. And I call to your teachers, guides, masters, and invite them in to make this energy work as gentle, loving, and kind as we can. So, take one more gentle deep breath and exhale out everything left in your body that no longer serves you, and imagine it going through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. I want you to imagine this incredible divine healing energy coming down from God, coming into the top of your head. And imagine that energy flowing through your brain, and feel every cell, atom, molecule of your brain reconnecting with the Creator. And now you're becoming an awakened spiritual being, open to new possibilities. Feel that energy flow out your third eye, the middle of your forehead. And now feel that energy flow out through your throat chakra. And feel that energy flow down even farther. And feel it come out of your heart chakra. And feel that high healing energy flow down your body even farther. And feel it come out of your belly button chakra. And now feel it come out of your sacral. And now feel that energy flow out of your root chakra. And feel that energy flow all the way down your legs. Let it go out your feet and send it into the earth. Let it flow down your arms and out your hands, and imagine it flowing down your spine. So I want you to take one more deep breath, and this time as you exhale, imagine everything dark or negative that no longer serves you. Imagine that energy being gently released as you exhale, then breathe normal. And as you're doing that, I call to Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours, whether it's from a friend, relative, acquaintance, stranger, anybody you work with, TV set, animal, whatever the karmic reason is that created anything out of balance in your life or your body today, and as all that unwanted energy is peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to reptile, dinosaur energy, secret societies, organized religion, cut all ties to any oaths, vows, curses, hexes, rituals that could have been done to you or your families, going backwards and forwards, hundreds of thousands of generations, or anything you could have done, consciously or unconsciously. And as all that unwanted energy too is peeled off of you very gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to any effigies, that have been misused against you, and that's any elemental of yours was used to hurt you or anyone, including anything you own, clothes, hair, picture, your name spoken, written, just thought of, or anything you have your energy on. And as ties to all those elementals are cut, I call the violet flame through them to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We fill them up with love, and I command them to be neutral or only emit love. And now I want Michael to come forth, remove any energy implants that have been done to you or anything that could have carried over from any other lifetime because of dark magic, voodoo, or dark witchcraft, or just dark thoughts sent your way. So I want the stick, pin, needle, or knife that's in your crown chakra removed from your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hips, teeth, anywhere in your body that's out of balance. And as you feel all those pins, needles, and knives being very gently removed, imagine all those spaces immediately fill up with the violet flame to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. You release all that unwanted energy back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any energy overlay that's trying to manipulate you, keeping you from connecting with God, healing yourself, being really successful, fulfilling all your divine missions, and living your life in joy. And as all that unwanted energy is gently released, it's keeping all these wonderful things from coming to you. We also send it through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now again, I want Michael to come forth, remove any energy implants that have been done to you, or anything that could have carried over from any other past lifetime. So I want the stick, pin, needle, or knife that's in your crown chakra removed from your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hips, teeth, anywhere in your body that's out of balance. And as you feel all those pins, needles, and knives being very gently removed, imagine those spaces immediately fill up with the violet flame to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We release all that unwanted energy back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now again, I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any energy overlay that's keeping you from connecting with the Creator, healing yourself, fulfilling all your divine missions, being really successful, and living your life in joy. And as all that unwanted energy is gently removed, that's keeping all these wonderful things from coming to you, we send it through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. So I call the Michael the Archangel to come forth. And if there's anybody out there that's directing any kind of dark energy at you, whether it's through black magic, witchcraft, or just dark thoughts, we're going to ask them to stop, because if they're doing it to you, they are doing it to others. Step forward in a light, and if they choose not to, which is their free will, we ask their higher self and guardian angels to put them in a position of harmlessness. We surround them in a bubble of mirror. The mirror faces them. It's 2 inches from their nose. And as long as they do that dark work, that energy stays contained in the bubble of mirror. And I ask that this bubble of mirror stays up 24/7, 365 days a year until they do works of good. And I add the violet flame to it to transmute any of their dark energy so they have no forward movement. So I call to your higher self and ask your higher self now to activate your divine blueprint for perfect health, the one that you created before you incarnated into this lifetime. And I want it to start manifesting in your body now. And if it is manifesting, I want it to accelerate and feel yourself heal and release everything that no longer serves you. And imagine those spaces fill up with the violet flame to clean up any energy out that's out of balance. And now fill it up with this high healing divine energy of God. And just feel anything that's out of balance correct itself as every cell, atom, molecule in that part of your body reconnects to the Creator. And you should feel it becoming warm as that light fills that space and releases anything that no longer serves you. So allow this energy to integrate in a very gentle, kind, loving way with your cells, your atoms, your molecules, all your internal organs going all the way down into your DNA. And with every breath, feel yourself integrate even more. And you're becoming grounded, more grounded. Come on, I need you guys to at least be able to be conscious to listen to the show, right? Right, okay. So feel yourself becoming more grounded and more attached to the earth. And you're just very, very centered and clear-headed and very open-minded. All right. Boy, I hope that was as good for you as it was for me. So let me tell you who Dave Matthew Boddy is. Now, after surviving depression and suicide for over 16 years, an intense career in security and bodyguard work, being diagnosed with ADD in grade 7, being diagnosed with permanent brain damage in 2011 due to not 1, not 2, not 5, oh no, not even 10. We're talking 15 concussions. Dave has become a recognized international selling author, self-defense coach, actor, public speaker, entertainment writer, and a concussion awareness advocate. And, we're going to talk about all that. And I can't wait to hear how he got all those 15 concussions. I mean, how many of us have gone through life with absolutely no head injury? None whatsoever. I mean, I remember 3 of them that either I was hit in the head with a swing when I was younger, I fell at the pool and hit my head, and I was hit by a car in my street, and I woke up in bed. So, and I actually have 3 dents in my head because of them. Too much information? Oh, yeah. Anyway, so, again, how many people go through head trauma and actually nobody talks about it? Think about all those football players. And every single one of them has had some kind of head injury, concussion. I mean, good grief. That's a sport that needs to be done away with. Talk about gladiator mentality. Ooh, made you football fans really happy. Well, it's true. I mean, I like to watch football because all those football players have incredibly tight ends. I mean, you don't mind watching that, do you, ladies? I mean, come on. I mean, if you got to watch football, something you probably don't enjoy to begin with, but I mean, if your guy makes you do it, there's a lot of eye candy out there, for goodness sake, and you might as well enjoy it because they keep putting it in your face, right? And they're hunks. Well, most of them. I mean, you got some they're a little roly-poly, but most of them, when they say tight end, they are tight ends. All right, we are waiting for Dave to call. And I'm going to go ahead and try to drag him on. Can I do that, Liz? Really confuse him?
You can try. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Dun 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 doo 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 doo. Am I still on air?
Hello?
As far as I know. Great job, Cathy.
Hi, Dave.
How's it going?
Well, we're just really going with the flow today, aren't we? And I'm so glad you're going with the flow. Because first I said Skype, no, phone. And then it's like, surprise, we're Skyping you in. Well,
That was a
thank you.
surprise.
and you reacted really well. So you're on. I kind of gave, an introduction of who you are, Dave, and welcome to the program. I'm so grateful you've come on to talk about concussion awareness.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I mean, when I read that you had 15 concussions and you're still functioning, it's like, oh my God, I got to talk to this man.
Yeah, it's been an a very eventful life.
Well, you want to talk about it?
Sure, of course.
Where-
My first ever concussion was when I was 4 years old. My father and I were play wrestling, and I decided to jump from a chair to a hideaway bed, and I miscalculated the distance, and I struck the right side of my head against the metal frame, thus resulting in a couple broken blood vessels and some other damage to the right side of the skull. And as I grew older, I just got more and more. Then I started doing professional wrestling and football and security slash bodyguard work and suffered more in those elements.
Well, what were your most common symptoms of a concussion? Can you describe a concussion to people?
Of course, a concussion is when your brain makes contact with your skull. It could be from the front of the skull, it could be on the sides, it can be on the back, it could even be as a result of whiplash. Basically, it's a good amount of force that makes contact with your skull and makes your brain bounce. Is literally what happens.
Some for good and some not for good. And wouldn't you say that somebody, and that you can call it a brain injury, right?
Correct.
Okay. They're not the same, are they? It can change you.
It's it's very sporadic depending on the person. For me personally, all of my concussions have had the same symptoms, which is dizziness, mechanical headaches, memory issues. I've had emotional instability, which is basically where I can be happy and then without reasoning go depressed, and then go from being depressed to being excited to going from being excited back down to depressed.
Don't they call that bipolar?
They do, however,
I mean,
bipolar,
they have a name for everything, don't they, nowadays?
they do. And, concussions have such different side effects for different people. Some people have very minor, very, very minor side effects, and sometimes they don't have any further effects. Some have very severe, some have all to the point where it's fatal due to suicide. So like it varies depending on the person and the severity of how many you've had and how hard you basically hit your head.
Wouldn't you say a lot of the people coming back from war now, they're admitting that they have head trauma?
It's very likely. Very
Uh,
likely.
I have to say, I mean, dude, for someone that's had 15 head concussions, that's some interesting karma. And you're still alive to talk about it. Man, you took on an interesting mission.
I felt towards the end of the 15, I would say from concussion number 8 to 15, I was in a part of my life where even my psychologist was even surprised I was alive due to the amount of depression I had and how emotional, unstable I was, and going through a divorce and going through losing a job and going through other health issues. And, working in the security and bodyguard industry, I was working different shifts every single day and getting the brawls and arrests and what have you. So my psychologist was very, very surprised because when I went in to see her in in 2011, I was not in the best state of mind whatsoever.
Well, I would think with all those head concussions, and my belief is that you had anybody who's had a brain injury, it's going to change you on some level, somewhere, somehow.
Hmm.
And, and as I'm listening to you speak, I'm thinking, wow, I wonder how much that's opened up your sensitivity. And, all this depression that you went through was actually other people's energy that you picked up
It would
because because where you were working, you know, didn't sound like it was, if you're bouncing people, is that a bar?
Oh no, I was doing security and bodyguard. So mainly I was doing mall security and escorting celebrity services.
Oh my God. And we're talking about some wild and crazy people. his energies are wild. And, even having to be in a mall, I mean, we're talking bizarre energies going through all the time.
Oh, very often. It was a wide variety of psychology I was dealing with on a daily basis, and while trying to understand what I was going through while trying to help people go through what they're going through, it was a very hard dynamic to comprehend daily.
Well, a lot of times, I think, and this program kind of sucks. It's a learn by doing program. And it's like, and I look at all the concussions you have went through and lived to talk about it and function and can speak and can remember, you know, that a lot of times you've got to go through it in order to teach, and become someone who's a concussion advocate because you have such an understanding. It's like the alcohol has to help, the other alcoholic.
Oh, for sure. You know, it's kind of a situation where sometimes my memory is okay. However, I also have ADHD, which I was diagnosed with in grade 7. And with all the concussions I've had, they've actually stated that it's increased some of my ADHD symptoms, which is, relevance to my memory. So there's some days where I'm good, and there's some days where I'm just frustrating, not only to myself, but my family and people around me.
And you've got the concussions and all, and I'm just going to toss this out at you because nobody even looks at the high radiation that we're breathing in daily from Fukushima and how it is affecting our body and affecting the weak parts of our body. So, one of the symptoms of severe radiation poisoning is memory loss. And I'm not taking that away from your concussion. I'm just saying that the breathing extra radiation could be amplifying what you have.
I never considered that.
Not many people do because they don't talk about it in the papers. They don't want you to think about it. They don't want you to protect yourself. They don't want you to do the cleanses that you need to stay healthy. And then when something happens, we're going, oh my God, what did we do to create this? And it's like a lot of times we don't do anything. It's reptilians out there that are putting chemtrails in the air that are allowing the radiation, to go on for 5 years. I mean, 5 years, and no governments are out there really trying to actively stop it. And Japan has let it run, taken over by the Yakuza. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that or considered it as an option or an alternative.
Whoa, well, welcome to my world. So, what were your worst symptoms then? Would you say the depression, the suicide? Of course, how can you, rate, depression is like a 7, suicide is like a 9.5?
It was pretty bad. I battled depression for over 16 years, and towards the end of 2011, I strongly considered suicide because I was at the point mentally where it's just a daily occurrence of the same repetition over and over again, which was being told I couldn't hold my son because I was having serious dizzy spells and I had vision issues and I was constantly just struggling. However, when I considered doing it, the only reason I went against it was because of my son. I saw a vision of his of him smiling in his laugh, and at that very moment I knew I needed to get help, support, and I needed to alter my mindset in order to be a better father to my kid.
Wow. That's a big step.
It was a step that I had to take because not only am I trying to take care of my well-being in my life, I'm also raising children. So I had to strongly consider the impact of my health and lack of health and how it affected my son. And for the better part of a year to a year and a half, it was just very unhealthy for both of us because I was unable to do anything. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't watch television. I couldn't do much of anything without getting dizzy. So, he was always bored and frustrated being a 2-year-old and being told to sit and don't run around and don't yell and play.
Oh, yeah, I get it. They don't understand you're not feeling well.
Oh, of course not. Now that he's 8 and my daughter is 5, I've started talking to them about it. And whenever I have a day where I'm just down, or if I'm having a day where I'm just not really sad or just not feeling good, they understand why it's happening and that it's nothing personal towards them whatsoever.
When you say you have ADHD, does that mean you can't focus for a while?
ADHD has numerous elements to it. There's focus, there's hyperactivity, and then there's memory. For me, it's focus and memory. I'm not generally hyper. However, it's very hard for me to focus on something that I'm not passionate about or something I'm not really caring about.
That's not, that's part of life. You're not unusual with that one. Sorry. I think most of the kids in school are like that, right?
That's correct. And that's why they don't generally diagnose or study until the child hits grade 3. Sometimes it even goes to junior high.
Can I give you an exercise that would help you?
Sure.
What you do is and anybody who's got, and it's also being able to focus and being still. So you sit in front of a mirror for 5 minutes and you have a time clock, and you put the time clock, like the egg timer, in a room where you can hear it go off, but you won't hear it go tick, 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 tick. And you just sit and stare at your forehead for 5 minutes. And your mind's going to wander all over the place. It's going to go, oh my God, you're going to sit here, think forehead. And it's like, oh God, I got to do the radio show. Nope, forehead. Oh, but I've got to cook dinner. No, forehead. Oh my God, what am I going to do later? Forehead. And you just focus on your forehead. And you might see pictures, images of past lives, some of your teachers. But after 2 weeks of doing that, you are going to see a big change. You're going to be able to even be totally still and able to focus because you've just trained yourself now to be still and to focus.
It's sort of like a tactic I use that's called grounding, where I just close my eyes and I rub my earlobe and I just think of one thought over and over, and I just keep constantly focusing on that one happy thought. And it kind of grounds me. So the only thing with ADHD and ADD is that it's actually a chemical imbalance within the brain. And your filters are very, very difficult to control. And that's why they often try to give you medication. The good thing is I'm against medication. So I just find a lot of natural remedies to try to help me understand exactly what's going on and being able to counteract it.
Well, after you awoke to what you needed to do to change, what was the first step you took?
The first step I took was admitting the fact that I needed help. I've always been very stubborn and prideful, refusing help, refusing support, refusing assistance, and I realized that at this moment, I was in a need where I needed professional guidance and professional support that was consistent. So that's when I was admitted to rehab for 7 months, and it was the best thing for me.
What kind of rehab?
It was brain injury rehab. So basically, I was seeing minimum 2 to 4 therapists a day, psychiatrists, physical therapy, and I would also have in-home therapy as well.
Well, what kind of therapy do they have for the brain?
Basically, it was teaching you how to balance. Because what happened with me was whenever I closed my eyes, within seconds, I would get dizzy and I would collapse. And that's because within your ears, there's 3 canals, and within those canals, there's crystals. And when you have a concussion or a head injury, the crystals within your canals get into your head, which cause you to have dizziness. The problem with me is it's called BPPV I can't remember the exact technical term, but basically what happens is when it's when the crystals stay within your head, and they have to give you this sort of physiotherapy to help bring the crystals back into the canals, to help relax your head injury, to help you focus. And then I had to do strength training from the bottom, from 10 pounds up, because I had no coordination with my hands and balancing and walking. Then I had to see a psychologist about my depression, because they figured until I was mentally at peace, I would not be able to basically overcome, because they said that depression and weight issues can also make your symptoms worsen with concussions.
When you were saying what physiotherapy, what is that?
Basically, it's like working out with a physiotherapist who is someone who's trained with kinesiology and weight training and understanding limitations to each individual. And then they give you a system of, okay, do this workout for 10 reps at this weight, see how you feel. Basically, they just teach you how to get back to normal in relevance to your physical strength and conditioning.
Did they actually do any energy work with you, like sending any energy through the brain or anything like that?
Not that I remember. I know there were some situations where I was laying down on a bed and they had my head tilted, but that was trying to get my crystals to go back into the canals. Other than that, I don't think so.
Well, whatever they did well. Okay.
It did very well. I'd actually discharged early. I was supposed to be in for a year, and I asked for discharge within 7 months, and I got approved. So they were phenomenal.
And it was your total life, it was your focus, to get better and to, for your kids were your encouragement, yeah? Were the carrot?
Oh, for sure. My son has. I actually wrote an article on my LinkedIn account, which was entitled "Becoming a Father Saved My Life," because that's the true definition and the true reality to when I started realizing I needed to get help was when I had a son.
Well, thank God you had the son first and not the daughter, huh?
That's true.
He didn't mean it, honey, really. um, yeah, but my God, you had concussions since you were 7. I mean, if wasn't your destiny, really, and saying it tongue in cheek, I don't know what is.
It was definitely very hard to adjust to the reality of being told I had ADHD, and then on top of that, concussion after concussion after concussion, and then when I had my 12th concussion, where I was robbed, and I got hit in the head with a shovel 3 times, and I hit in the head with a glass mug once. It was that concussion that they determined was the downfall to the rest of my concussions, where that concussion affected the part of my brain that helps you with controlling your emotions and controlling your vision. Those were very greatly affected in 2006. So it was just a constant struggle with, okay, Dave, you had another concussion, you got to take 2 weeks off. And that's the other thing that I always emphasize is back when I had these initial concussions, from the first concussion till about the 8th, concussions were not treated seriously whatsoever. It was rest for a week and you're fine. There was no other medical proof or evidence or basically any education in regards to concussions. So my psychologist in the rehab also figured that due to the fact that I was misdiagnosed for so many concussions, that didn't help my situation whatsoever.
Don't you think, Dave, that you were labeled ADHD, and don't you think that anybody's labeled with that, they just go, oh my God, okay, now there's nothing I can do.
At first, yes.
And they use it as an excuse. Oh, well, I can't do that. I have ADHD. Okay, no, it's not a disease, and you need to learn to focus. No one has taught you how to sit down and really focus.
When I first got diagnosed with ADHD, I was very concerned, but at the same time I was relaxed because it explained everything. It explained my forgetfulness, explained my inability to sit still. Like, for example, I can't sit still to this day, being 30, and not have something in my hand.
Has anybody ever
Sorry?
taught you? Has anybody ever taught you how to be still and how to sit still? I would say no. They don't do that with
No,
kids. They are not
because
taught. Instead, they want to give you a drug or label you ADHD. You have to teach people how to do this. You just don't wake up and go, "Oh yeah, I'm 5 years old and I can sit in this chair forever and be like the Buddha." That's not
if only it was that
reality.
simple. If only it was that simple. Like, most people don't understand what ADHD is. It's actually a mental health illness. So it's a diagnosis that is for a reason. So it's not as simple as just teaching and saying, because if it was that simple, I would more than happily accept that training when I was 9 years old or 10 years old or 11.
But they didn't have anything like that, did they?
And they still don't.
So, you didn't have a choice but to go through what you went through. And, I guess I look at things on a more spiritual, esoteric level. And I actually did sit down and do the mirror thing. And I noticed a big difference in my life and the changes. And I just offer that as a suggestion to people, to train yourself if you've never, had to do it. And you have a pretty neat exercise, I have to say. And I hope you can share more exercises like that, you've been taught to do that people can do also.
Oh, of course. Like, with it's a common, not really misconception, misunderstanding where I've had it growing up my whole life, where people are like, "Oh, it's not real. ADHD is just made up." It's like, I wish it wasn't real, because there are some parts of it where I cannot stand, even when I'm 30 years old, and it's very, very difficult as a youth being told you're lazy, you're unmotivated, you'll never amount to anything. And this is what I was told by teachers from ECS to grade 6. I was told I was lazy, I was unmotivated, I was disfocused, I was basically going to fail for the rest of my life. And then when I got sent to the doctor, and they overlooked everything, they did brain scans and all the stuff that they do to diagnose, they realized, holy cow, it actually wasn't his fault. Because my dad said, he's like, my son's very focused when it's in regards to things that he's attracted to, but like math, I can never do. Still can't do it. I get frustrated quickly. However, I did graduate math doing techniques that I taught myself. But when I would go to the teacher and say, "Okay, I'm done my exam," and then she'd ask me to explain how I got my answer, and she would dispute it, saying that I did it wrong, I didn't do it the way that I was taught. And then that always was so frustrating. So when youth
You
has ADHD and ADD, when they get told constantly that's not real and that it can be taught differently, it's very frustrating, because it really
Well,
can't.
what the thing is that, you taught yourself how to learn, and because it wasn't education normal and approved, it couldn't be right, even though you got the answers right.
Yeah, it was. I had to do it in a way that I understood. Like, for example, if you were to ask me what's 15 plus 30, the way that I would do it is, okay, well, 15 plus 20 is 35. And then I would add 5 or whatever. Like, I would always go my own route to do the equation to get the sum. And then when I would do it, the teacher would say, "No, that's wrong. Do it the way that I taught you." So, like, it's completely frustrating when you get the answers right in the way that is best suited for you and comfortable for you, and then also to be completely disciplined against it, saying that, "No, it was wrong. Try it again."
I couldn't imagine. And I have to say, you grew up to be pretty incredible despite all those challenges. And you just want to smack those teachers alongside of the head and say, "What is wrong with you?" But this is what they're taught now. They've
Yep.
got to go according to the curriculum, and they don't want you to think outside the box. And this is it. You are being, how I see it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're being divinely inspired to come up with the answer. It may be in a different way, but you're still getting it.
Well, yeah, it's completely frustrating when school is no longer about learning. It's about following orders. It's about following direction, where you aren't given the ability to say, you know what, we're going to teach you how to think as opposed to what to think and when to think and what to focus on and do what you're told. And that's why when kids who have ADHD and ADD and other mental health illnesses like the bipolar and ODD, it's very frustrating for them, and they don't tend to do well because most time they're neglected, they're forced, and what happens then is they rebel. I rebelled a lot in elementary to the point where I was in the hallways all the time. I was in detention, and they had no idea why. But then even when I got diagnosed with ADD,
I have to say, Dave, if I can, they weren't very conscious at all back then, and they were pretty nasty, you know. I mean, because you were getting it, you were learning, not the way they, you know, wanted you to learn, but because it was outside the box, you kept getting into trouble.
oh, it was completely frustrating because instead of acknowledging the fact that I'm actually am focusing, and I'm focusing in a way that helps me, which is something that you would think a child should be praised for and acknowledged and given a high five. But no, unfortunately, because it was against the curriculum, the teacher, I felt, took it personal because maybe she thought because I was doing it a different way that she would be disciplined or reprimanded for it. So maybe she took it personal. I don't know.
Oh, her
All I know
ego
is
got in the way. Oh my God.
exactly like maybe me doing it a different way, his or her ego, and then they became defensive, which is a human trait, right? You become defensive when you're proven wrong. And I told her, like in high school, it got worse to the point where I got very, very, very verbal. And I would say, you know what, this is the answer I'm giving you. You either accept it or you fail me. I mean, and if you fail me, I will fight it. Like I got to the point where I got very confrontational and very aggressive because at that
It's
point
you know,
I was frustrated.
it's not comfort, it's standing up for your rights. That's all you're doing. It has nothing but, you know, being confrontational. You are standing up for yourself and saying, no, this isn't acceptable anymore. And you're standing up to authority. I mean, for that takes balls, my dear. And I honor you for that.
I had to do something because my father and my stepmother, they were beyond frustrated because they're like, he's doing the work, he's struggling, but he's doing it. But when you are a child growing into a teenager and then going from a teenager to an adult, constantly fighting, saying that you don't understand what you're teaching me, but I will figure it out, and you're constantly disputed, eventually you just stop caring. And that's why I believe throughout North America, the dropout rate is just phenomenal because kids are being forced. They're not being taught, they're being forced.
Well, they're being forced to learn, you know, like a robot.
Basically, yep. It's you go to school and you sit down and you are just basically spoken to in a very strategic tone of voice most of the time where you just have to focus, and then you just days in and days out, and then you come to a point where you just don't care no more, and then you just drop out, and then you pursue what you really wanted to do, which is if you're an artist, you pursue artistry. If you're a musician, you just drop out and pursue your music.
Well, I
And
think
it's very
that's what,
hard.
don't you think most kids are so afraid? And don't you call that entrepreneurship where you go out and develop something on your own, or you know, you decide, okay, this is my gift and I'm going for it?
Yeah, like the governments and well, basically 95% of the world are scared of entrepreneurs, and they're scared of entrepreneurship because it's different. It's not the norm. It's risky. It's we do something that you're scared to do. Some people take it personally and they say, well, because you have your own business, you think you're better than me. It's like, no, I just stopped caring about what I was forced to be taught. I just stopped caring about pleasing the people that really had no future with me at all. So I just started focusing on what I wanted to do because realistically speaking, it's your life. Like it's frustrating to have people tell you, oh, this is how life is. You know, it's a bitch and then you die. It's a typical 9 to 5 job. That's what life is. You just deal with it. And I grew up in the mentality of being the black sheep in my family, which is like, because, you know, the best part about ADHD is creativity. I'm very, very creative. I love creating things. I love pictures. I love drawing. I love artistry. I love creating new designs. And new implementations to help people. And that's why I chose to become the advocate speaker and the public speaker and the author and the actor and the producer and the writer, because it's every element I love. Like when I was working 9 to 5s and working for other people, I felt my creative side was put to the side just because society expected me to do it. And then when I broke free, everyone's like, whoa, you're breaking the rules right now. I'm like, yes, I'm breaking the rules, if I guess you can say.
I think you've always broke the rules, my dear, and you were
I've been
chastised
told that a
for
lot.
it. However, it made you strong, you learned to stand up for yourself in authority when you were young. And, most people don't even learn that until after they get out of high school and they actually live life away from their parents and not in college. They actually live life. So, you're amazing.
I appreciate that. It's something that I just, like when I attend schools and speak to youth, the first thing I always talk to them about is you got to find what you're passionate about and just focus right on it. And schools, it's such a catch-22 because I'm so against the curriculum in schools. I'm so against the mentality that the school system has. But at the same time, I understand how important it is to youth to graduate just for their self-esteem, just for their self-awareness to say that they're a high school graduate. I understand that. So like my son and my daughter, I teach them, you go to school, you learn to the best that you can. If you have any struggles, I'll help you. And you get that high school diploma, and then you just pursue whatever it is you want to do. Or if you get to grade 12 or grade 11 and you say to me, you know what, Dad, I really want to pursue this, I will most likely support you, because it's like, who am I to tell you what you can and cannot do? I'm your father. I'm not here to control you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to teach you and just to make you aware that society is very, very focused on peer pressure, and it's always for the worst.
Well, again, I think it's the higher upper echelon that want everybody to be slaves and to think the same, to act the same, to react the same, and to not be very intelligent.
I
To
can't
break out
dispute
of,
that.
huh?
I said I cannot dispute that whatsoever. Like, you can't control the intelligent. You can't control the strong.
No, I think creativity, when you can be creative, you can earn a living from it,
Oh,
and I went to Africa and to Ghana, and what really impressed me is that almost every single person there had a job, had a little kiosk, whether they had goods that they sold on the street in between cars, everybody did something, and it was just encouraged.
they were they were inspired and encouraged to be unique, and that's what I think we've lost that throughout the years in North America, where you have to be unique. It's now you be the same,
That
and
is
that's why
well
people
said.
are like, they're uncomfortable. People are uncomfortable every single day that they wake up. They go to a job they hate. They drive a distance they hate, and they just do it because it's because they settle. Like, but while they're settling deep inside themselves, they're uncomfortable. They're not content, and it's because it's like you're not doing what you want to do, and what you want to do is what you need to do. Because like I did a career in security for 8 years and I loved it, but at the same time I wasn't getting the fulfillment out of it as I am now with my life, doing what I love to do 100%, as opposed to 80% and then 20% of what I want to do. I now have that life where it's like, it's me. What you see is what you get. I love my career because it's who I am. It's not a career to me. It's not a job. This is just me. I love acting. I love writing. I love producing. I love speaking. It's just that simple. And when you're taught growing up, because like my family is very old fashioned. They're very 9 to 5, work as hard as you can, do overtime. And I did all that. I worked so much to the point that my psychologist diagnosed me as a workaholic. And she's like, it's not good to be a workaholic because you break down.
Uh, uh-huh, true. No argument there. Coming from another workaholic, dang.
Like,
And
so
if
as a
you're type
workaholic,
A, It doesn't matter what you do because, and if you enjoy what you do, it's not a job. And if you love it, you want to do it more. What can we do?
Exactly.
And then the
Like,
family comes along and goes, excuse me, did you forget about me?
or like the most popular is your family will see what you're doing, but because it's against what they're normally seeing, they want to be supportive, but they're scared for you. And and that's why I said like entrepreneurship is a very scary thing for people to process because it's against the norm. It's holy cow,
Well,
this person's breaking the rules.
yeah, and you're not counting on that weekly guaranteed paycheck. You got to go out and, create that money.
You have to actually work.
Yeah,
Like
you have to
I
actually
consider
work.
entrepreneurship the most difficult. You actually work. Like, it's a job that you have, okay, I work Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, guaranteed money. And you go because it's a guaranteed money. But then you come home, and the most important thing that people forget is when you come home, that's your time to chase your dream. That's your time to take all the bitching and say, you know what, I'm done complaining about my job. When I'm off work, I'm going to pursue my dream. But people don't do that. They settle. They're like, okay, I did my 8 hours a day. Now I'm going to go home and watch some TV, go to sleep, and then get up and complain and do it all over again. And that's my routine. And they do that for 20 years with no guarantee of retirement. And that's the scariest thing that's what scared me the most is I'm not guaranteed to retire working the 9 to 5 job. That's not a guarantee.
I'm right there with you. I own my own business. We have less, probably about 45 seconds. So we're going to go on take a short break. You hang on, just mute your microphone so you won't interfere in our lovely commercials. And then, we'll do a short blurb and then you'll be back on for the second half. And I have a lot more questions for you.
Ready.
So we'll be right back, everybody. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show on Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips. And Revolution Radio is listener sponsored, so we really appreciate it when you go to their website and, they got a donation button, and all donations are so graciously accepted. And it's because of your donations that we're still on air and the station keeps going. So again, go to Revolution Radio at Freedom's Lips and go check out their website. And, you can also get some stuff to support them. They're selling our old shows that you can buy. And it's not very much, but it's also, it supports the station. And then they sell seeds and other little goodies. So, look at their website and check out their donation button. Actually push it. Oh my God, what a concept. And we are very grateful for what you give. And remember, what goes around comes around. As you give, you also receive. And if you want to find out more information on me, you can go to my website at www.angelliteom.com, ANGELITEOM.com. And I've got all my healing tools there and got a couple books and one you can download for free. The Curse Removal Energy Balancing. You can download that for free. And my healing tools are made out of angel light and they glow in the dark. And, you don't need electricity to turn it on. Your energy does. And, they last about 75 years or more. Unless you got a kid that takes it and slams it on the cement. And then there's no guarantees. And you can also find me on Facebook. I'm under Cathy Bilsky and Catherine Bilsky, and I got my store up there, Cathy's Angel Light Crystals, Miracles, and Joy, in which I have a store in Hawaii, on the north end of the big island in Honoka'a, and I have a free healing center, Rock Shop, and I do the pain, stress release, the curse removals, and we do... for those that want it, the soul retrieval, and you can lay on my angel light table, and I got some really, really cool rocks. So, if you need an excuse to come to Hawaii, well, here you go. And I'm on the same island as the active volcano, which is flowing right now. So, it's like one of those chance of a lifetime thing. So come hug that big earth keeper I have. It's over 1,000 pounds and the largest crystal in Hawaii. And, enjoy the islands. It is paradise. And we also have the Enlightenment Movement 2016 at shutterfly.com. That website is up. So check it out and join. Give it energy so we can quantum leap the world into enlightenment. We're doing it. Things are changing, but, we could be doing really great leaps and bounds. And all you have to do is in your mind's eye, just chant or chant out loud. May divine energy descend around everyone now. May divine energy develop within everyone now. That's it. How easy can it get? All right. Well, we're talking to Dave Matthew Boddy, and we're talking about concussion awareness. Welcome back to the program, Dave.
Welcome. Thank you for having me again. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, no, you're fascinating.
and
Yeah.
and just so you know, you actually said my name correctly the first time. It is indeed Body, just like bodyguard. So you did say it correctly the first time. Good job.
See that?
Because
Thank
usually
you.
people say it wrong all the time. They all, like, even in school, David Boddy to the office. It's like, oh.
Oh, God.
But thank you
Okay.
for saying it correctly.
That's unconscious competence on my part. It's like I learn a name, and this is is it Mia or Maya? Mia, Mia or Maya? Okay, and I'm going, oh God, which one is it? And I never can get it right. It's crazy. Anyway,
Yep.
we all have our head stuff, huh? So, so let's get back to talking about concussion awareness. Now, it sounds like you actually did receive eventually support from doctors, right?
That's correct. Yes. The doctors I went and saw at the brain injury rehab truly specialize and are very passionate with the neural system and understanding concussions and other head injuries and other mental health awareness. So they're out there now. I'm also affiliated with a doctor named Dr. David Reese, who's a North American psychiatrist who has done very well documented work within the industry as well. And I'm also a fan of Dr. Ramalu, who is from the movie Concussion. His work is phenomenal as well in helping the world understand CTE and concussions and mental health awareness. So the education is truly there. However, the sad news is the education was found after we lost a lot of individuals due to misdiagnosed concussions and CTE.
Isn't that how it is?
Right?
Unfortunately, it's like the only time they'll pay attention is if a lot of people get hurt
That's
or they
correct.
show
And
symptoms. And even then, it's not always.
well, and I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Concussion, but basically the doctor had two patients who had clean MRIs, had clean history, but what he did was he looked further into the brain
Mhm.
to try to understand why these individuals went and committed suicide, and violently committed suicide. Like, one of them caused a serious car accident, and then one tasered himself to death. Like, he's like, people don't just die like this for no reason. So he investigated the brain inside the brain, and that's where he found bleeding into the brain and other great effects. So it took a lot of individuals to lose their life for them to take it seriously, which is completely just mind blowing. No pun intended. Like, it's frustrating that people have to die before something's actually taken seriously. But then again, when Dr. Umalu figured it out, no one really knew much about concussions. He was the one who actually said, no, this is what happens. It's internal bleeding. It's this, it's that. It's affecting parts of the brains that people don't even understand just yet. Like,
Mhm.
there's still great education coming in regards to concussions and CTE. And that's why I became an advocate and an awareness for it, because statistically, we're losing someone every 40 seconds to suicide worldwide. And the statistics in regards to
Mhm.
mental health are just drastic.
Wow, that's incredible. Um, You've had a lot of struggles overcoming, your symptoms. Now, what are your current struggles with your concussions?
Oh, I have a situation where I'm unable to operate machinery or vehicles due to vision issues. And what that means is when my eyes see and then they communicate with my brain, it's delayed due to the part of my brain that was affected. So if you give me a map or a graph or something that has a lot of colors, a lot of shapes, a lot of designs, I truly have troubles focusing and I get a headache right away just because my eyes are seeing too fast compared to what my brain can comprehend at once. So basically, it's a combination of cognitive ability as well as vision. And then I have infrequent and sporadic dizzy spells where I can just stand up, which is pretty common with people if you stand up too fast. However, I can be standing still. I can close my eyes just to take a deep breath or a yawn, and then all of a sudden I can be dizzy right away. They're very uncommon, but the last one I had lasted for over an hour and 6 minutes, where I was continuously dizzy, and I had to just lay down.
Wow. I wonder if are you aware that, the government or whoever, the military, they send out frequencies
I'm not surprised.
and just tossing out another, angle to look at. Could you also be reacting possibly to some of these frequencies, that are, creating dizziness and stuff? And I'm only saying this also because I've felt it. And I've gotten very dizzy. Oh my God. Matter of fact, I've gotten so sensitive. We went into a Panda Express. I will give Panda Express a little bit of PR here, but not good. And they have granite tables, which are beautiful. They're beautiful. They're opalescent and they change, they're like Labradorite and they change little blue, colors pop out. But they had so many tables of this, and it's also slightly radioactive. And I don't ever usually eat inside. I usually get and go the food. And this time, my friend and I actually sat down for dinner, and both of us started getting sick and dizzy. And then I realized that, maybe one granite table by itself may not hurt you for a long time, but you sit in a room with 20 of them and they're all radioactive. That just amplified that radioactivity.
It makes sense. It's quite possible.
These are not normal times anymore, are they, Dave?
No, there's so much stuff that we don't know and some stuff that we should know.
So, what do you think, or do you think that your concussions actually increased um, a gift that you might have? What do you think? Have you noticed anything that you may do better? And other than you got some really wacky symptoms, but do you feel like your sensitivities are really become more sensitive, which I think they have by the way you're talking? And I think you've always been sensitive to energies. And again, people don't talk about it. You can be
Um,
really happy and, go into a grocery store and pick up everybody else's anger and then walk out and feel like crap.
I have been told that I am a very empathetic individual where I do feel that everyone has an energy that they contribute. Now, I understand a lot of people don't believe that kind of hoorah, but I do, where we all have an energy source. And so I have I'm not going to say an ability, but I have a trait where I can just pick up someone's emotions almost immediately. I can distinguish if they're upset or sad. And the downfall is I do feel that a lot myself. When I do pick up someone's emotions, I tend to feel it with them. I tend to feel sad with them. I tend to, now that I'm studying social psychology, I've also liked to profile people, and I, I I love looking at the why something's happening and then figuring out how to help them. So with a lot of my concussions and my ADHD, I have a lot of sensitivity to people's emotions and their energy, and I can pick it up quickly. And then with that, I can adjust my personality to help them overcome it. And that's why I'm getting the social psychology as well, as I just love helping people adapt from their current mood to another one.
Let me ask you a question. How are you able to discern what is your emotion and feeling as opposed to what is theirs that you're feeling?
It's it's kind of weird. Like, let's say I walk into the gym, for an instance, and I'm in a great mood. I am very aware of who's around me. I'm constantly watching their mannerisms, their eye movement. This may be a part because my industry, and my time in security, so a lot of training in that respect. But I'm always aware of people around me, and then my fiance and my close family understand that I'm an individual. If I see someone or if I feel them sad, I'll actually gravitate towards them. And sometimes I feel like I can't even refuse that gravitational pull. Right? I'm like, I got to go help this person, just be happy and crack a joke and have a good time. Like, I don't like me being happy and other people around me sad. I feel I have to share the energy. I have to uplift the energy when I get into a room.
Well, that's divine service, Dave.
That's the way that I've always been. I've always been very aware. So
Yes,
I
but
don't
when
know.
when you consciously go over to somebody and you can feel that they're unhappy and go, okay, instead of just walking away from it, I'm going to help you shift it and do it in a way that you're not going to know, but I'm not manipulating because you're just going to be happy because I'm going to do something to help you shift.
Mhm.
That's divine service. And if more people, and that I'm not going to build you up or anything, but that's also an awakened master, darling.
I don't even know how I trained or even practiced it. It's something I've always had the ability, and I don't know if it's because of my experience with being bullied and rejected and my own struggles and how I overcame it. So now I feel like it's an obligation to help others. But it's even when I was going through my depression, I found the best way to heal was to help someone else heal with me.
And that is, again, divine service. You're uplifting other people, and you're not asking for anything in return, other than you want to see them joyful. You know, that is mastership, whether you understand what you are, or but that's the level when you're conscious and you're just, I'm going to help you shift because not only are you going to feel better, but things are going to shift for you and the whole world will be lightened, and makes me feel good too. So yeah, there is a byproduct, but you're not doing it out of selfishness, other than you want
No,
to see
not
that
like
person happy.
I can I can safely say that when I help people, either if it's financial or just advice, I always tell them that when they I had one person say, I don't know how I can pay you back. And I just said, smile. Just show me a smile and have fun. That's all I ask. I want to just see everyone succeed and everyone just overcome. But at the same time, it's like the struggle of the reality is not everyone wants that help. So like there's been people I've went to go help and they sloughed me off, and I still go back to them a couple of days later or a week later, and I still stay in contact because I don't want on my conscience to know that I went to help someone, they sloughed me off, and then I left them, and then they really needed it. So like, there's always I'm very empathetic and I'm very sympathetic with people, and I want to say it's because of my struggles and the fact that people were always there for me. So it's like a feeling of I gotta pay it forward, but at the same time, I've always had it. I've always just found myself gravitated to helping with no expectation for anything in return except for a thank you and just a smile.
Well, I'm going to call it like it is. That's divine mastership.
I've
And
been told the divine.
you're very humble, which is how you're supposed to be. You have a sense of humor, which is how you're supposed to be. I've been told that, like if people, when you go into a channeling, and how do you know if it's a good entity coming through, or not. And I was told of like if they can't crack jokes, if they have no sense of humor, you run like the wind.
Exactly. Like, and even though I see it as a beneficial gift, I've also been burned a couple times, and I've always said that I'd rather have my back stabbed than be the one that stabs the person's back. So like I can handle it, and I don't know that's because when I was 4, my mother left me, and I didn't see her till I was 18. So I don't know if it's like when I lost my mother for 14 years, I just had this mentality of I don't care if you hurt me, just understand I'm here to help. Because I've been hurt so many times before in the past that it just doesn't phase me no more. Like my best friend Jesse always tells me he doesn't understand how I forgive and forget so fast. And it's just because the reason I tell him is I know I'm not perfect, and I know I would love if someone I loved and cared about forgave me as opposed to hold a grudge on me. So if I get stabbed in the back, it's fine. I just don't want to be the person who's doing it.
Wow. How about that? That's a highly evolved, conscious man. All right, your girlfriend's very lucky to have you.
Sometimes I feel it's reversed because she knows how to calm me down. Now, long story short, I've also known my fiance since grade 8. So, and we've been together since for 4 years now, but it's like she knows me so well. And that's it's also very important to have that, is to have that communication and that relationship with someone who understands you so much that they can say, okay, you know what, Dave, you're getting a little bit heated. Let's just calm down. Like she knows how to restrain me to the point where it's like, okay, I'm calm, I'm content. And so, yeah, she's phenomenal.
Wow, sounds like a beautiful, mutually beneficial experience.
And that's the way it should be, right? Like it's,
Absolutely.
it should be every relationship you have should have a give and a take. It should never be all giving and never taking, or always taking and never giving. Like it should always be 50, not even 50-50, but just fair and respectful.
Yeah, no arguments there, and all the women are going, oh.
Most likely, yes. I am a helpless romantic, I guess you can say, in some aspects, but then there's other aspects where I'm just blunt and forthright when I need to be.
Well, but that they're going, oh, he's like, Camelot, the knight in shining light who is empathetic and is caring and has a soul, and oh my God. All right, let's get back. What exactly, other than coming on radio shows, do you do as a concussion and ADHD awareness speaker?
I love the most common platform I do find myself speaking on is internet radio or radio stations. However, I also go towards community events, camps, retreats, schools, community centers. Basically, wherever I'm invited or accepted, I will go. There's no boundaries in regards to where I'll go to help. Like if I get, like there was one time I was actually invited to Egypt and I took it. However, I forgot the fact that I don't have a passport currently. So that was a mental issue on my part. I completely forgot, oh, Dave, you don't have a passport. You can't go to Egypt. Like I was also been invited to Iran. I've been invited to Russia. So like I will go
Well,
anywhere.
Dave, go get a passport.
I'm actually doing that next week. It's about 2 to 3
Don't use that
process.
as an excuse. Good grief, dude.
It's a terrible excuse because it's completely my own fault. So it's not even really an
Well, but
excuse,
also, it gives you an excuse not to go yet.
which is frustrating because
You know,
my dream is traveling. Like when you and I first conversed, I remember I specifically told you one of my goals is to come to Hawaii. I love the Hawaiian heritage and the Samoan heritage. Like I love it. So that's another reason why having this conversation with you is it's like I'm a step closer to going to Hawaii. Like I'm actually speaking to someone who is Hawaiian and who currently resides in Hawaii. So it's like I'm kind of like I'm there.
well, I'm actually from Michigan, but I do reside in
Oh,
Hawaii. I've been here 11 years. I'm
right.
getting there. But oh God, yeah, I understand. It's a really interesting connection, and Hawaii is beautiful.
Oh,
highly encourage everybody to come see it at least once in their lifetime.
More than happy to. Like, it's definitely my daughter. I told her, like, if you can go anywhere in the world, and she out of nowhere just instinctively said Hawaii. I never once told her about Hawaii. She just mentioned it.
Tell her she can swim with the wild dolphins in Hawaii.
It's just everyone wants to go to Hawaii, and it's for rightful reason. Just the spirituality and the religion and just the community beliefs of support one another and be there for one another. Like, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say I've not ever felt community like I have here.
I can
And
imagine.
and it's changed my life. You have people that you know that you can depend, mutually beneficial relationships. And you're on an island. You have to depend on each other.
Of course. And
Well, it's not, they bring someone in from California, and I came in from California, but I always say, when they ask me where I'm from, I go, I'm from Michigan originally, but I did have a rock shop in California. But by then, Michigan has settled in first. But, and I can see it because, people from California come out here and they think it's like California, and they can rip, pillage, plunder, and rip up stuff and rip up plants and not even think about their neighbors. And, it's all tied together. You just can't do stuff like, you can't have an attitude and be, really rich with an attitude here.
that
But
is true.
other than that, it's a beautiful place. And we can go swim with the dolphins. Oh my God. Tell your daughter that and then get her a piggy bank.
She would love that. Even I would actually like. And then you mentioned that you were on an island that has a volcano. That's kind of scary to me.
Well, I live on the opposite end, which is, a little bit more comforting. And it goes off so much that people are just like ho hum. And this is how we get a new crop of people. All right. The volcano flows, everybody on that side of the island, which is the south side. Some of them go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we got to move. Oh my God. So they do. And they, when they can sell, and they usually sell cheap. And people that want to move here go, oh my God, look at the buy I got. I could afford to move here. And so we get a clean crop of people. But when I moved here, because I, told myself, how did I end up on an island with an active volcano? Am I out of my mind? And I had to really look at it. And then, I looked at other volcanoes, like Mount St. Helena, that literally went off pretty violently. And then here, when the volcano starts to flow, it's pretty gentle and she gives you an idea of which direction. So it's like, if your house is in the way of my flow, you probably have 2 days to get your crap out of here. I am evicting you. And if you don't, I'm just going to clean you out. All right. So, she warns people. So it's pretty gentle because people honor the land more here. It's an island.
It sounds so, because I reside in Calgary, Canada, and it's city life and winter for 8 months of the year. So when I hear stories of volcanoes and beautiful weather and dolphins, it sounds like a completely different universe
It
that I
is.
have to voice to.
I'm from Michigan, all right. And I could do some
It's
Michigan.
half past.
Okay. This is the best Michigan bashing joke I can do. And if you're from Michigan, you're going to get it, right? All right. What does it say about a group of people that says the favorite time of year there is the change of the seasons? Okay. Well, that gives you 2 weeks out of the year to be happy. What do you do for the other 11 and a half months, right?
Basically, like the weather conditions here in Calgary are just very sporadic, where it can rain, then it can snow, then it could be sunny, and then it could be foggy, then it could be a combination of all the above. So it's frustrating.
Well, see, even the weather can go bipolar. Yeah, we have that happen here all the time, but you never know what weather is real and what's not real anymore. because they screw up. They know how to mess with weather. I'll tell you, strange times. It's not like we don't have a difficult time just trying to, live. We also have to put up with all this other crap.
Yep.
Oh.
A lot of sporadic small rocks in your barrel.
On the other hand, if you're going to go through it in Hawaii, right? Ouch.
Yeah, I'll be out there soon enough, I promise you. And like,
Well, that gives me a good excuse to go dolphin swimming with you and take you there. How's that? Give me an excuse to go. I have a kayak.
I don't need an excuse. I just need an invitation, and I'll be there. 100%.
All right.
Get me away from the city life.
How many of the family is coming with you?
All four.
All four.
All four. We'll all be there with smiles and probably most likely a one-way ticket. I will live in the forest. I don't care. I love nature.
Yeah, just so Hawaiian. The starter home in Hawaii is a tent.
I'll do it. No problem.
Many people do. They call it going off grid.
It's actually, I think it's been a goal of mine ever since I was in brain injury rehab, where my psychologist said that sometimes you have to have a change of scenery to have a change. So leaving a city or moving somewhere else, changing jobs, doesn't matter what it is. But ever since that discussion with her, I've always had this goal of just traveling the world, just traveling.
Well, you are, in a way, traveling through radio. It's not exactly how you thought it would be, huh?
Close enough. I can actually hear something in the background, which is really relaxing.
Yeah, we always get what we want, but it never looks like what we thought it was going to look like when we get it, or come from the direction we thought it was going to come from when we get it. I would encourage anybody from the far north to move to a warmer climate, really. Oh. All right, let's get back to you being an awareness speaker and you going all over. So do you find yourself talking more to kids, or like there's a mix?
I tend to just go to universal demographic. I prefer youth, and the reason why is I've always loved working with kids. I've always loved kids. When I was in security, I did a lot of work with at-risk youths, so I'm very comfortable with youth. However, adults also need to have awareness to concussions, and more often than not, though, I find adults are more stubborn. They're more heavy-headed. They're more focused on, I've been here longer than you, so I'm set in my ways. So sometimes working with and speaking with adults is very challenging, but at the end of the day, when you eventually help them,
and I have to say, do you think the head injury really just maybe kind of popped them into that direction?
Sorry, I didn't quite get that.
You know how some of them, like you're talking about the older generation. I have to watch it because I'm 63. But watching my dad as he grew up, you know how when you get older and you don't know yet because you're younger, that you can either grow into a happy old person, or, one that remembers every negative thing that happened to you in the past, but, can't remember what you ate for dinner. And my dad also had a brain injury. He worked for Cadillac, and he was on the front lines, I'm proud to say, for the unions. And he got hit on the head and put him in the hospital, and he had an operation. And when you were talking about how you had a hard time working with people because they were so stuck in their ways and so negative. And I'm going, oh my God, my dad was just like that. And I would always look at him and not say this to him, but say it to myself, that you are not a well person. First off, if you're not connected to the Creator, because if you were, you wouldn't act like this. So you're not well. And I'm beginning to get a different perspective that much of that could have been due to the head trauma he got.
To be quite honest, there is a good chance it was, but there's also a chance that we don't really know exactly how. Like, did he get diagnosed with the stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3 concussion, or
It put him in the
like did he get diagnosed with
hospital.
something?
Yeah,
Oh,
it put him
okay.
in the
So it was a pretty
hospital, and
severe
he
one.
had a severe, and he had a
Okay.
brain operation.
It's, I can't technically say it's a guarantee, but it is pretty highly probable that he did, and that if he didn't have any further evaluation or checkups, like I usually go for a checkup every 4 years, is what I usually do. I go get my head MRI scan just to see and make sure nothing's getting worse. It's not really advisable for a lot of people, but for someone like me with 15 concussions, all of which had serious symptoms, I do it every 4 years.
Right, but you're conscious. But back then, like you said, even when you were growing up, all right, he had this in the 50s. All right, it happened
Yeah,
probably
there.
and they didn't look at concussions at all, other than, he had the brain operation and it kept him out of World War II. But they probably just sent him home and that was it. I don't, of course, and I was too small, but I don't think they did much evaluation on him after that,
Well,
ever.
yeah, it's a good chance that they didn't, because for my first concussion to up to my eighth or ninth, I was not evaluated whatsoever. I had no CAT scans. I was just basically, it was treated as if I had a headache. I take some Advil, go home, don't try to sleep for the first, couple hours so that we don't go into a coma. And I'm like, if you are telling me that there's a chance I can slip into a coma, why are we not treating this more seriously? And that always baffled me. You're telling me I could go
I'm
into a
sorry.
coma,
How brain dead can doctors be,
right?
right?
It was completely frustrating where I get told as a teenager and as a youth, don't go asleep because you might slip into a coma, but you're fine. I'm sorry, what? That's such a contradictive diagnosis that
But see, you are so aware, and you were aware back then, and you
I
caught all this, okay? You caught the double speak and the stupidity. I mean, I had to take mescaline to kind of get that, where I would look at people and go, "Oh my God, are you really saying this? You really listen to yourself talk?"
I think the best example was I got a concussion during a domestic dispute between a husband and a wife when I was working security, and she clocked me right across the right temple, and I started vomiting within 20 minutes. I was vomiting and seriously dizzy, so I knew it was a pretty good concussion. However, I went to the doctor. So at first, I got transferred to the hospital, and they said, "Yeah, you have a concussion. Go see your doctor within 5 or 6 days." So I waited. I went and saw my walk-in clinic doctor, and he's like, "Oh no, you're fine." I'm like, "Doctor," I'm like, "This is like my eighth one, my ninth one. I don't feel right. Like I'm constantly paranoid. I'm having hallucinations. I'm not sleeping well." And all he said to me was, "It's expected and it's normal. Just go home and sleep." And once again, I clicked. I'm like, okay, how is that considered normal for normal people to have hallucinations, dizzy spells, and depression? Like,
Well, I guess it's normal for somebody who had a concussion. He never finished the sentence.
I'm just like, that is not normal to me. So I ignored it. I said, okay, fine. I'll go home. I was supposed to take 2 weeks off. I just took one and went back to work. And then I suffered another four concussions within 2 years, two of which
Damn, dude.
two of the four concussions I actually suffered within 25 minutes of each other. When I was doing professional wrestling in 2006, I suffered two concussions within 20 minutes, and I still had. And then when I got jumped in 2006 with a shovel, with the I got
You
hit.
ever think that maybe got this kind of curse going on that may need to be removed? Just
I
saying.
Long story short, I got the weakest head in the family. To be honest with you, I'm the only one in my family has concussion history.
You're still alive. Your head's not that weak, okay?
It's like
You're
frustrating.
functioning, okay?
I
You're
haven't
like the
had any. I haven't had any concussions in 4 years, so I'm guessing that's a blessing.
duh. You're like the Energizer bunny, right? He keeps a licking and keeps on ticking. God.
Basically, but like the important part of my story was the fact that they were able to diagnose me with 15. However, the doctor said that there's a chance I even had many more minors. Like, there's people who have diagnosed 24 concussions, but then when they pass away and they donate their brain to research, they can find out they actually had more than 30 or 40.
Oh my
So,
God.
and the reason why I bring that up is in, response to your father. You have one hit on his head, or later on in life, that get diagnosed. That
You're breaking up. Can you say that again?
yeah, sorry, my apologies. I said the reason why I bring that up is with reference to your father. Like, you said he had a good hit in the head, he was in the hospital, but who's to say that he didn't have another head injury after that and he didn't get diagnosed or he didn't mention it? So he could have had another couple more.
Well, he could, and he could have got hit in the head, and I know he had a brain tumor, so that could have created it. I don't know. I wasn't born yet. And
There's possibilities there.
yeah. But again, we're talking about brain trauma, and people don't understand that people that have had brain trauma, they may act differently because of it, and it's not their fault.
Exactly, and that's the main reason why I became an advocate, is for the simple fact that there's thousands of people who are dealing with this, that are being neglected and misunderstood. And then when they're being neglected and misunderstood, what happens is they get to a point psychologically where they just break. Just like if you are like I always say that if you're in an abusive relationship, eventually you're going to snap. You're going to fight back. You're going to lose your patience. You're going to defend yourself. It's the same thing with concussions and CTE, where when you get so many and you get ignored, you get neglected, eventually you get to a point where you feel like you have to do something to get noticed. And then that's why we get individuals who commit criminal offenses, like my doctor friend, Dr. David Reese. He said to me, it's not normal behavior to murder someone. It's not normal behavior to commit suicide. He's like, something alters in your brain. And if you actually think about Jim Carrey and Mel Gibson, two great actors that have had moments of their life where they've been recognized by the media as going crazy. That, with the brain injury studies, they're actually saying that when you're an actor or an actress and you take on a role that involves you having to study that role greatly, you can actually become that role and not leave it, because you've trained your brain to become that role. That's why they have that saying, if you say it to yourself over and over again, you'll eventually believe it, because actually it's true.
Do you remember Christopher Reeve?
I do.
Okay, do you realize that Christopher Reeve was Superman, for those of you that don't remember. And he's done some really wonderful things, and Somewhere in Time is a classic. Oh my God. But Christopher Reeves, one of his last roles he was studying for was the role to be a paraplegic. And he darn manifested it, and he became one. And he was one till the end of his days. And I always overlooked, like where you're talking, I go, I think you over manifested that one.
It's anything with the brain is very tricky. And that's why I tell people who say, oh, you're young, drink now. No. I learned in my brain studies, in my rehab, is that your brain's developing until you're 25 years old. So if you're consuming large amounts of alcohol at 19, 20, 21, 22, you are potentially causing brain damage to yourself as well as your liver. Anything that alters your brain can truly become irreversible. And that's why with my friend, Dr. David Reese, him and I have come to the conclusion that medication for brain injuries can for sure have some side effects that can increase your symptoms. And that's another reason why that people don't understand, okay, well, if you have a head injury, just go on medication for like antidepressants. Well, if you don't know the patient well enough and you give him an antidepressant, it can actually increase his symptoms and he can become even more suicidal. There's a lot of things that people don't understand about brain injuries. And in that's not just the general public. Like, doctors are still researching, they're still educating themselves, they're still trying to find.
Well, they've got to stop using people as guinea pigs. And, it's like, doctor, would you actually take this drug with all these side effects? And oh, by the way, oh no, oh please give me the one that causes death, okay? Please, I've always wanted to take that one forever. I mean, come on, they're Frankenstein. That's all they are, pill pushers. They have no conscience. Because if they had a conscience, they could not give you that kind of drug. That would, it's supposed to keep you from committing suicide, and it pushes you into committing suicide. You
Well,
want to go, hello?
it's completely frustrating because I was informed that there's medication I can take for my ADHD as well as my concussions, and I'm like, no, like I feel 100% that I can adapt through this or I can overcome it myself. I don't need medication. I did medication. I almost got to the point where I was addicted to Advil liquid strength, the 400 milligrams. I was taking between 8 to 12 of those a day sometimes due to my arthritis and my concussion history. And I realized that it didn't really benefit me whatsoever. It made me sick. It gave me an enlarged spleen. It made me feel stressed. Like I avoid medication like the plague just due to the fact of how heavy the medication is pushed.
Yeah, no arguments there. Now, Dave, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they find you?
Oh, I'm everywhere. I am literally everywhere.
That is
I'm on
scary.
I'm on LinkedIn as Dave Matthew Boddy. I'm on Twitter at Dave Boddy 86, and that's BODDY, Dave Boddy 86. I'm on Instagram at Dave M Boddy. I'm on Facebook, which is basically my primary, which is www.facebook.com/official Dave Boddy. I also have a business on there, an organization that's called Bodyguards United, which is a youth and community empowerment organization. And you can get that at www.facebook.com/bodyguardsunited. You can email me at davebody86@gmail.com as well.
Now, do you do personal training?
I don't really consider it personal training. What I do is I share my story and I give advice and tips of what I did to overcome it. If I find that I'm with someone who needs more professional help, I use a lot of contacts and get them help.
Can you give us another brain exercise that you were given?
Yeah, I believe I gave you the what's called grounding was the first one I explained that I do, where I just rub
Yes.
the low. Okay, yeah, there's that one, which is the one I most commonly use. Another one I use is just simple practice, which is just closing your eyes and breathing. And another one I use is I'm actually starting to get more interested to meditation. I'm
Now,
starting
when you
to.
say, let's back up a little bit. When you
Of course.
say just close your eyes and breathe, does that mean you're focusing on your breath only when you close your eyes and that's it?
When I go through the exercise, I close my eyes and I'm focusing on deep breaths, controlled breaths, and then after about 5 or 6 of those, I'll slowly open my eyes and I'll keep doing it for a full minute.
And that makes you stay calm and centered?
Yes, that is the second one. The third one I use is exercising. I love exercising.
Now,
Going
are
to the
you
gym, going for runs, riding a bike, anything that involves nature, I feel relaxes you and calms you greatly.
Well, I'm not surprised. You're so connected, and I can see. Yeah, I always say that there's one light worker in every family, and that light worker is always known as the black sheep because they're the different one.
I am definitely the black sheep, and I've been told that by my grandparents, my father.
What a compliment, though.
I take it as
And
that. Really.
and the challenge is that you've been so aware all your life, and you're divinely inspired. You are connected with source, else you wouldn't be given, all these wonderful ways to overcome things and, still get the right answer, even if it was from a totally different, angle. It
Oh,
didn't matter.
the primary thing that I speak about, I call it the power of adaptation. And what that is to me is it's the power to overcome due to knowing your self-worth and knowing that you matter. So I have this belief that I know I'm worth something. My goals are worth something. My family's worth everything. So no matter what, I'm going to overcome it. And I just call it the power of adaptation. And that's what I completely speak upon, is understanding your self-awareness, your self-confidence, and just focusing on your self-worth completely. Because I feel that when you find your self-worth in the world, you will overcome anything and you will strive to prove people wrong. I love that. I love when someone says, okay, you know what? You proved me wrong. I strive for that.
I can see that. Well, you're amazing. And again, all those concussions, and you're still talking and intelligently, by the way. But boy, when spirit puts you on a path, they put you on a path, huh?
Very much so. Like you zoom zoom, you're Mazda, you're just down that path. You just go. You just don't stop.
Yeah, but it brings you joy because you know it's what you're here to do. And how did you know? Through all your life experiences. And unfortunately for you, it was a lot of concussions.
A lot. But at the end of the day, I always tell my kids that yes, daddy had a lot of injuries, but daddy had a lot of obstacles that he overcame as well. So it's like no matter how many times you get hurt, as long as you're, and that's why on my Facebook and my Twitter, I have my coin saying of as long as you are alive, you can and will adapt and affect change. Because as long as you're breathing, you have the opportunity to just change and become who you want to be.
That is absolutely true. Um, but that's having going through the leap of faith and going outside the box.
Of course, which is something you have to do in this world. Like you have to be able to do something that no one else is doing.
That's true. That's entrepreneurship.
It's called the
And
slight
hey,
edge.
if you come to Hawaii and you can cook, all right, as long as you're not cooking roadkill, you will have a successful restaurant as long as you're open.
I can't cook, so that's a downfall for me.
What can I say? I was giving you an open door here saying, hey, look what you can do. As long as it's not roadkill, you're in, right?
Basically, yep. Now I understand what you're going for.
I was just trying to be helpful and help you get here and go, hey. Yeah. um, so where are you going from here?
Where am I going from here? I'm always doing auditions for new TV shows and new films. I have a film that I wrote filming in Los Angeles in about a month and a half. I have two more scripts that have been accepted. I'm basically in talks with a lot of big organizations that are for mental health of becoming a speaker for them. I've joined forces with my doctor, David Reese friend, and we're in talks of him and I doing some seminars and some tours together. So basically, I'm hoping that you will see me everywhere soon.
Awesome. I have to say, if there was anyone more qualified to do this job, I think you are right number one.
I do appreciate that.
And thank you for knocking me out of line when we were in heaven for jobs, all right? Blessings.
I will help you. I will train you, and I will make you just as qualified as me because that's just who I am.
And I will learn from your lessons. Thank you very much, God. Got that? Okay. Oh, well, I always wondered, because I had 3 head traumas, that how much that changed me when I was growing up.
There's a
I'll
it's a 50-50. Like there's a chance that it may have not. Maybe you just fell down for the while. There's chances that like there's instances where you don't even realize anything until months or even years. There's one concussion I had where I was suffering symptoms for over 9 months with no slowing down. It was 9 months straight, and then the next concussion was 4 months, and then another one was a year.
Damn. All right. Now, I never was there. I had 3 concussions. One, a swing knocked me out. 2, I was running at the pool and I fell and I hit my head, cracked that open. And the third one, oh, I was hit by a car and I ended up in bed awake. So at least I woke up, right?
Wow. At
And
least you
again,
woke.
I have three dents in my head, and I'm going, now, how much has that, changed my perception, even, to my connection to spirit? I hope it helps me hear better because sometimes I feel like Helen Keller and I don't get them.
You, like I said, there's a chance, but being that you were hit by a car and you woke up unknowing where you were, there is a good chance that you may have had something altered, but you haven't seen it or you don't feel it, which is quite common as well.
Oh, I didn't go to the hospital for none of, oh, I think one I did. But, back then there wasn't any other trips to the doctor to check you out or check, if you were functioning, walking, breathing, eating, you're good,
Yep.
Well, oh my God, we're done out of time. And thank you, Dave, for coming on.
I am more than welcome and happy to come back again.
All right. Aloha, everybody. Do random acts of kindness.